Hi everybody, if you're interested in getting to know why breaking the rules can get you great pictures, then stick to this video and I will tell you. Thanks. Hi everybody. In photography there's a rule, and the constant trying to achieve perfectly sharp and clean images. That is not wrong per se, but there's a certain niche of photography or a certain style of photography where you actually do the opposite. And that's photography using an instrument or something called motion blur. That means that you use your camera. Basically, you take your camera and instead of trying to hold it as steady as possible and then press the shutter release button, you try to follow a subject with your camera in order to separate that subject from the environment or the surroundings or the background. And that can be done with vehicles, with people, with anything, animals. And the effect you achieve through that is that basically instead of having a frozen image where you freeze motion and everything is fixed in a place, you have the impression of movement. You can show speed that way. You can show dynamics that way. And I will show you some examples here where that kind of worked out. And then we will talk about how exactly to achieve. Now, as you may have seen in the images, it depends on, the movement very much depends on the structure of your image and the subject you're trying to separate from the background. If it's a person, the movement will not be that fast. If it's a vehicle, the movement can be very fast. Now, there's no universal recipe to achieve this effect. What you have to try is to get emotion with your body, not so much with your camera, but with your body, that corresponds to the speed of the subject you're trying to separate from the background. So my personal suggestion on how to do it is, instead of moving the camera like this or like this, you actually move your body like this. And if you make this movement fit the speed of the subject you're trying to separate from the background, you will actually manage to do that. Now, how do you set your camera to do that? You set your camera to shutter priority, because that's the most essential thing. You should actually try to set your aperture rather closed, because first of all you get no separation through depth of field, and the open aperture actually would probably prevent you from keeping the shutter speed slow enough to achieve this effect under normal circumstances without using ND filters or something like that. So I usually suggest that I'm showing this on the example of my Ricoh GR, and you set your camera to shutter priority, and then you select a shutter speed. Well, it depends. If it's a person, for example, you can get a good result with half a second. maybe even 1 second. If it's a vehicle that moves faster, say even a train or something like that, you could do this with planes, theoretically. You can go even faster than that because your movement will definitely be quicker than half a second. I mean, in half a second you will probably turn around all the way. So what you should try to do, and trying is an essential term or word in this attempt, you will have to try a lot. You will have to try a lot because usually the first results you will get is everything blurred and no discernible subject. So you really have to focus on the movement of the subject and going with that movement at the correct speed. So that is something that really I wouldn't know how to explain a better way than just trying and getting into this flow of the movement. So you may, before you even try to go on subjects that are particularly interesting, you may just pick anybody walking around in the street and trying to follow that person's movement. With that, you get into this flow and you will develop an instinct for the correct speed or the correct, well, yeah, movement of your body to follow that person or that subject. So the best thing is go out and try. Set your camera to shutter priority, set the shutter speed for people. I would say like half a second, for example, maybe a quarter of a second, and try to do that. You know, you can then go on and do vehicles or birds or something like that. That is honestly, in my personal experience, a lucky shot. If you get something like that, say a flying bird, and you can really move following the bird and semi-freezing the bird and having the blurred background or the motion blur in the background, that is, well, if you manage, congratulations. It's definitely not that easy. But doing it like on people and doing it with a wide angle lens is reasonably easy to learn. So if you want to get I've showed you some examples. Those were really spontaneous things, not you know, prepared or anything, nothing set up. And I would be happy if you leave some comments or subscribe to the channel and let me know how this worked out for you. Thank you very much and have a great day.